This is not the prettiest follow focus. In fact, it's cobbled together from more parts than used to make Frankenstein, but it works great, and it cost me a fraction of what a Hollywood-level professional follow focus system would cost. The best part? I already had most of the components just lying around. So why not sit down, strap in, and hold on. We're going to rack focus quicker than you can say cow. Professional follow focus systems are expensive, but there's some good follow focus systems out there at a decent price for what you get. Take for example the Tilta Nucleus follow focus systems. These have been the choice for many independent filmmakers for a long time. But the base system you buy does not set you up properly for a remote follow focus station. With only parts and equipment that I already owned, I wanted to put together a highly functional follow focus station that could also double as a portable director's monitor at times. Hey everybody, meet Frankie. Frankie, meet YouTube.
Hello YouTube.
This is by no means a proper follow focus setup, and it's made from parts that are not usually intended to be used in this fashion. But rigging components together into a functional package doesn't need to look pretty or be designed for purpose, so long as it works as intended. At the heart of the setup is a camera handle normally intended for a cinema camera rig. These handles usually have a lot of 1/4-20 and 3/8/16 threaded holes, airy style mounts, and cold shoe attachment points on them. This makes them ideal for a setup like this to mount a monitor, a follow focus Fizz handset, along with power and video receivers to get video from the main camera on set. As I said a moment ago, the handle is intended for a cinema rig setup, but just looking at all the mounting points, you can attach anything to it. This particular handle has a rotating shaft and a Nato Rail style clamp where it's intended to clip onto a camera rig. I always keep extra Nato rails on hand. You can never have enough Nato rails kicking around. With a small length of Nato rail connected to a V-mount battery plate adapter, now you have the overall foundation for supporting and powering all of the required components of the follow focus system. The monitor is an older Atomos Ninja Inferno 7-inch recorder. These recorder monitors had fans too noisy to be able to be used near the camera or audio equipment on set. But when used in this setup, it can be far enough away from the action to be used without any issues. The monitor is attached to the rig with a small Rig Swivel mount that I originally used to mount the old monitor to my camera. Then of course, to get the setup far enough away from the camera, we want to be able to transmit the video to this unit wirelessly. So another style of small Rig Swivel that I had kicking around is used to mount a Teradek Spark 4K receiver on top of the battery mounting plate. And then of course, the final main piece of gear in the follow focus setup is the Fizz handle itself. This is the older first-gen model of Nucleus M Fizz handles, and the Fizz mounting brackets that were made to attach to these units to a follow focus setup are no longer made or sold new. I had some angle steel lying around from some previous landscaping equipment projects, and with some basic hand tools, drills, and Dremel equipment, I was able to make a small metal mounting plate that would allow for a cold shoe mount to be attached, and then a small ball head unit connected to mount the Fizz unit to the camera handle. The unit can be handheld and then set down between shots, and it rests nicely on the battery so you don't have to worry about it tipping over and crashing to the floor. But it's also really easy to screw in a baby pin adapter to the handle, and now the rig can be quickly connected to a lightweight light stand and set at a comfortable height to make a very portable follow focus station that can be moved around set as required. I obviously love the fact that this is put together with components that I already owned, keeping my cost down to essentially nothing. I purchased an additional V-mount battery plate for this rig as I was swapping it back and forth between a B-cam and the follow focus setup from my A-cam setup too often. Also, the unit allows for the Fizz to be quickly disconnected and used on its own and put back together just as quick. The ability to power all of the components off of one battery is essential to a seamless workflow, and nothing is directly connected to the battery, so battery changes are quick and easy. There are a few downsides to this. The weight of the unit when using handheld because of the size and the weight of these older components, but mostly, obviously, you just don't get the advantages of a professional follow focus Fizz units that you can program for each lens in your kit with digital readouts. But for only a few bucks, you can get additional marking rings from Tilta. I've taken and custom marked the rings using masking tape applied to the rings and then marked up the focal distances on my lenses. One marker ring for each lens in the kit. The last downside to this setup is the quality of the components being used, and that is where most of the trade-off is coming in. The HDMI transmitter is almost zero latency, but it is not as reliable a transmitter as, say, stepping up to the Teradek Bolt level of transmitters. The monitor has noisy fans, but so long as you are 10 to 15 feet away from the microphones on set, you probably won't hear them in the audio recording. But in the end, it works extremely well. It allows for extremely accurate focus pulls and was a fraction of the cost of a more professional setup. Preston Fizz and Airy follow focus systems go for over $30,000 new, and they can cost up to $500 a day or over $2,000 a week to rent. The entire cost of components in this setup is about $3,000 total when they were bought new, and could likely be purchased nowadays for much less. Now, am I going to show up on a Hollywood film set with gear like this? Of course not. And two reasons why. One, first ACs who show up in Hollywood with gear like this are probably not going to get asked back on many productions. It just doesn't bring enough value to a high-end production. Number two, I don't work in Hollywood. I got a day job that pays the bills, and really I'm just a weekend film warrior who likes to put together DIY solutions to bring value to independent film productions. So, who's this geared at? Obviously budget filmmakers, documentary shooters, independent films, of course, and maybe YouTubers where you're filming in a group or some corporate video, that type of an environment. With a little ingenuity and some spare parts from your tickle trunk, you can put together your own Franken-Follow Focus. Repurpose the gear that you already have to bring higher value to your workflow. And remember, it doesn't have to look pretty to be functional. So if you've made it this far into the video, then thanks for watching. If you like this type of content, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps out small channels like mine. And while you're out and about, don't forget, don't make a lot of noise. Make good sound and video that's in focus. We'll see you in the next one. Oh, come on, Frank, let's go.